Hey guys, Aaron CybertronVGC here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked where I climb the online VGC ladder in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and provide live commentary as I go. In this video, I'm going to be featuring a early season rank number 1 team featuring Bulk Up Annihilape as well as Rocky Helmet Corviknight with max speed. This was built and piloted by a Japanese player called Okana. I've linked his Twitter down in the description below, and I wanted to feature it because, one, obviously it's a really consistent team with it getting to rank number 1, but two, I think Bulk Up Annihilape is a really interesting set. Now, so far in VGC in the early season, most people have been using things like Choice Scarf Final Gambit on Annihilape, and I think the Bulk Up set is one that's also really powerful. The theory is that Annihilape's signature attack in Rage Fist increases in damage output every time the Annihilape is hit, and that stacks throughout the game. And so with a bulky Annihilape, essentially you can keep eating up hits, you can keep healing back via Drain Punch as well, and essentially use Annihilape as a potential late game sweeper where it can just Rage Fist into everything, and the Rage Fist base power will increase substantially after eating up so many hits. It's also paired with the Light Clay Dual Screens Grimmsnarl, and so it's even more difficult to knock out Annihilape. As always, I'll do a quick breakdown of the team, but if you want to just skip to the battles, check out the timestamps in the description below. Thank you so much as always for watching. If you enjoy, I'd really appreciate it if you consider leaving a like on the video or subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out a ton, but appreciate everyone for coming out and watching as always, and let's talk about this team. Once again, a huge thank you to Kiwamu, aka Okana, for the team. He's one of the best players from Japan and actually streamed his entire run to rank number 1 on YouTube. So if you want to go check that out, I'll link it down in the description below. And question of the day, inspired by us using Annihilape with Rage Fist, I want to know what your favorite new move from Generation 9 is. I'm honestly really interested in the applications of Revival Blessing as well as the Shed Tail. Haven't really tried them out in VGC yet, but I think they're super interesting. So those would be my answers. But let's talk about the team now. Annihilape is really one of the main stars of this team, and the idea behind the Annihilape is that it becomes just really bulky, as I mentioned, thanks to Bulk Up, and then you have dual screens from Grimmsnarl as well. So, I already talked about the moveset a little bit, but once again, Rage Fist, as you can see here, its power increases by 50 every time the user is hit, so this thing can stack up so quickly, especially because with dual screens, it's really difficult to knock out Annihilape. Even if you just switch in Annihilape into something that's not very effective, like that in itself can allow you to stack that up quickly, and the stacks like stay in effect even after you switch out Annihilape and bring it back into the battle, which is also pretty wild. So Lumbarian Defiant here is pretty strong because it prevents burns, which is really nice, as well as other status conditions like Spore from Amoonguss, for example. Defiance just nice in case like Arcanine tries to get, a little bit greedy and come out into you after a single Defiant boost. You're in really good shape. And of course with Defiant you can also switch into things like Snarl, for example, and get an immediate attack boost. And so yeah, you have a good concentration of HP investment here and a decent amount of speed investment. I think Annihilape's speed tier is pretty interesting because when I was using this and even through playing the games, like I kept forgetting, oh, it's actually base 90 speed. It's decently fast. So with the speed investment, you outspeed things like max speed Tyranitar, for example, and a lot of like the base 70, 80, 90 Pokemon, if they're not max speed, for example, you also have a good chance of outspeeding them. One interesting interaction you have to, I think, watch out for is against Golden Go, because Golden Go, if they're max speed, will outspeed this spread, but a lot of Golden Go's actually aren't max speed, and so Annihilape can often outspeed them. But that's one thing that I think you want to really pay attention to, just because obviously Golden Go can have a super effective Ghost type into the Annihilape. So you've got Water Terra here, which works, mainly kind of defensively, covers for a bunch of different things, and also, for example, like Golden Go often likes to go for like Make It Rain into Annihilape, if Annihilape's paired with something like the Grimmsnarl, and so turning into water means you can resist those steel type attacks, which is pretty handy. So yeah. The Annihilape here is paired with the Grimmsnarl to get both screens up. You've got Spirit Break and Thunder Wave. This is fairly standard, nothing too crazy. One thing to note here is that Grimmsnarl is Grass Terra, so you can use that very handily against Amoonguss, because Amoonguss generally is going to want to like Spore you, for example. To round out the team, you've got Corviknight. This Corviknight's really interesting, by the way, because it's actually a max speed variant, which, is not often seen on Corviknight. So the idea is that it just is designed to deal massive amounts of damage, and you outspeed things, like I mentioned, like that Tyranitar from earlier. And so max speed Tyranitar is still slower than the Corviknight here, which is pretty cool. And the idea is that instead of being like an Iron Defense Body Press user, you can stay on the field for a really long time, and then just like Tailwind as well as Taunt, so you have good utility, but you actually have really good damage output between Iron Head and Brave Bird as well. And so the Rocky Helmet here is really nice as a switch in, especially against something like the Mouse Hold, for example, where Corviknight is steel typing, doesn't really care about Mouse Hold, and then Rocky Helmet can essentially make Mouse Hold KO itself, which is pretty awesome. And then the rest of the Pokemon here, you've got a Citrus Berry Rotom. This just really meant to just be an offensive Rotom. No Will-O-Wisp, no Nasty Plot. You've just got Hydro Pump, Thunderbolt coverage. It's just a generally, good utility Pokemon. And then you have Terra Blast as well, so you can turn into fire and give you a, good matchup into like grass types, for example. Especially something like Amoonguss or like a Abomasnow. Garchomp's the next Pokemon here. This is just a bulky Swords Dance set with Clear Amulet. Plenty of different ways to run this Pokemon at the moment, but this feels like one of the more popular ways. I do think, though, however, by running Swords Dance and Rock Slide Earthquake, like, you don't have Dragon Claw, so keep that in mind. Fire Terra here is mainly defensive into Ice-type attacks once again. And Gengar is the final Pokemon. Gengar is pretty cool here because it has Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, Taunt, and Haze. You actually do really good damage between Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb because Gengar's base special attack is just pretty awesome. But Haze is really important in a format where there's so much setup going on right now, especially from things like Dondozo Tatsugiri, for example. And so, yeah, Flying Terra here exists so that you can pair Gengar and Garchomp. Now, no longer Gengar has Levitate, sadly, but of course, you can still go with Gengar, Garchomp, Terra Flying turn 1 and just go for Earthquake, for example. And then, like, a really strong attack with Shadow Ball or Sludge Bomb. And so, yeah, generally, I think there's just a lot of utility behind this team. It centers very much around enabling Annihilape to sweep, but all of the Pokemon can definitely pull their weight. And I think, yeah, like, what really drew me to this team was the Annihilape and the Corviknight, because these are, yeah, not exactly, like, super standard sets. I mean, the Corviknight's really, like, this was just kind of a surprise. I do think Bulk Up Annihilape has been picking up in usage. A lot of people are now maybe realizing I don't have to just use it as a Choice Scarf user, but I want to see just exactly how much potential this Pokemon has in the format. So, yeah, that's it for the breakdown. Let's get into the battles. Oh, wow, this is a really cool team. Lycanroc, Tyranitar, Volcarona, Houndstone, Dragonite, and Umbreon. So it's a sand-oriented team. I do think Annihilape is excellent here, as well as Corviknight. Gengar is the one we don't bring in this one, in my opinion, but I'm not opposed to something like a Grimmsnarl, and maybe we just lead Annihilape here, honestly. So Annihilape's mainly worried about what? Maybe getting burnt by Houndstone, but we do have Lumberry. Maybe we want to conserve it in the back. I don't know, though. Like, this can start bulk upping fairly quickly. What about Corviknight here? Corviknight could Tailwind and Taunt. It's Iron Head and Brave Bird. I don't really know who to drop. Garchomp feels so strong here. Rotom solid as well. I think I'm going to go Grimmsnarl, Rotom, Annihilape, and then... yeah, I honestly want to give Corviknight a shot here. I'm very interested in it. Especially with Rocky Helmet as well. There are a lot of different approaches we could have taken here, I think. Because, like, I think Garchomp's Swords Dance is totally viable in this matchup as well. But Corviknight's just not a Pokemon that I've used as much, so I want to get more experience with it. Garchomp's, you know, one of the real staples in this format already. I'm going to go with Tyranitar and Lycanroc. Okay. I mean, to me, I can fairly easily set up Reflect here, so that's fine. I'm not opposed to just a Reflect into a Hydro Pump. I've had to guess Lycanroc is Focus Sashed here. Honestly, Lycanroc doesn't scare me that much with Annihilape in the back, so maybe I just Hydro the Tyranitar instead. No Terra. I'm just gonna Rock Slide, okay. Maybe just double Rock Slide, honestly. Yeah. The thing is, if you go for that again, like, next turn I can just switch in Annihilape, and then you're just gonna give me boosts so quickly. So I honestly don't even mind that too much, even though we flinch. So yeah, let's bring out Annihilape now. We can start bulk upping. Now that we've got him Reflect up, I'm gonna go for Thunder Wave here and switch out into Annihilape. Notably, the Tyranitar outsped the Rotom here as well. I mean, if they're just going for Rock Slides like that, I almost think they might be Choice Scarfed, but... okay, Thunder Wave and a Lycanroc, which should still be faster than us, but it just means that they have to deal with full para chances now each turn. Rock Slide. Misses Grimmsnarl. Cool, hits Annihilape. And then they actually get fully paralyzed. I actually would not have minded them attacking through there, though. You know, gives me a free opportunity. Sorry, free opportunity to get a boost up. Might as well set up Light Screen in case for Volcarona in the back. Like, I don't mind Light Screen into Bulk Up here. Now, the Annihilape here is Water Terra, so We don't really have too much incentive to go for that now. Yeah, they just keep clicking Rock Slide, so that really makes me think they're just a Choice Scarf. Get paralyzed again. Okay. And we flinch. What is going on? I mean, I really would like to bulk up, but I'm thinking maybe I just Drain Punch right now. I also kind of want to conserve Grimmsnarl to set up like another Reflect later on in the game potentially, so I'm down to switch out into Corviknight right now. How valuable is bulk up? I don't really think we need the attack boost, so fine, we'll just Drain Punch here. But I think Annihilape's really well positioned, and the Rage Fist damage is just stacking slowly but surely. Okay. Sure. Okay, we don't get flinched there. Nice. Drain Punch gets the one-hit knockout. That heals us up considerably. So, like, yeah, the Rock Slide, you know, dealing with it was kind of annoying, but I knew because we had screens and recovery here with Drain Punch, we should be okay. But definitely an interesting start to the battle is what? Flinch into Rotom, double para, flinch into Annihilape. A lot of crazy RNG back and forth. That's Volcarona coming in, I believe. Yeah. We've got Water Terra plus Lumberry. I don't really want to take a Fire type attack here. I'm down to switch into Rotom. And just Rage Fist here. Is Water Terra worth it? I guess they could like Overheat. Lycanrock's not really that scary, especially with Corviknight in the back. Okay, yeah, we'll switch into Rotom. Terra. And then Rage Fist. Garchomp would have been okay, though, especially given that they just led Tyranitar Lycanroc. Like, I'm curious what their Garchomp answer actually was. Could be Ice Terra Blast. That'd be crazy. So they're not going to Terra here. Okay. This is the nice thing about bulky Annihilape, though, right? Like, a lot of people are used to seeing it with Choice Scarf Final Gambit, but here we can just, yeah, sustain for a lot longer. Lycanroc gets paralyzed again. And they go for Quiver Dance with Volcarona. Okay. Fairly ambitious. So we get Rage Fist off here. Rage Fist would be doing more if the Lycanroc didn't get paralyzed earlier, though, so I'm sad about that. But that's actually still a one-hit knockout. Flame Body activates, but we've got Lumberry. Amazing. The Terra in the end, though, didn't really work out too well for me, I would say. I mainly did it just out of fear of, like, I don't know, Choice Specs Volcarona, like, Overheat. I don't know if I really needed to be that afraid of it, but, yeah. Definitely got lucky with the Paras here. Dragonite comes out, okay. Well, I still have Reflect up for 3 turns. With Corviknight and Grimmsnarl in the back. Honestly, here I don't mind just, like, doubling up into Lycanroc. Drain Punch Thunderbolt. It might be better to split my damage here. Like, I would expect Terra Dragonite now. And you can Extreme Speed, obviously. But if it's Choice Band Terra Dragonite, you lock yourself in Extreme Speed. That's not good, right? I also could have gone for a sick play and just Drain Punch the Dragonite. That would have been awesome. But I'm not too worried even about Bandit E-Speed here. And Dragonite protects, so Annihilape here is going to look so good. Amazing. So we get Drain Punch. And it wasn't Focus Sashed. Okay, this whole time I actually thought it would be Sashed. So I'm curious on the item choice on that. But yeah, Annihilape in the end didn't get to get the bulk up off because we did not get the... We flinched that turn, but I mean, it was so good here, right? It was amazing to my opponent's entire team. You can see how the Rage Fist, like, works so nicely, though, right? You switch it into just 1 or 2 attacks, and this thing is just an absolute monster. So just Thunderbolt and Drain Punch now. But yeah, I mean, like, ultimately, their damage came from, yeah, just using Rock Slide. And Rock Slide's annoying, but Annihilape was like a super good counter into that. I think their team also just didn't have that many good answers into Garchomp or Annihilape. I do think that Houndstone coming out would have scared me a little bit more, just because I like wasn't sure what set to exactly expect from it. But yeah, that was an amazing game for Annihilate there, so I'm really pleased about it. And that was even despite the fact that, you know, flinched and didn't get the bulk up off. We didn't really need the defense boost in the end, but yep, I definitely did get a little bit lucky with the paras on Lycanroc. So wish we could have seen what else it was going for. I never really feel that threatened by it, given that Lycanroc's attack isn't like that crazy high. Plus we have bulky Annihilate, plus we have Reflect Up, but would have liked to see what else it had other than just, you know, the Rock Slide. Alright, the next team here is a familiar one: Golden Go, Garchomp, Maushold, Annihilate, Murkrow, and Hydreigon. This is the team that I featured fairly recently, built and piloted by Marcus Statter, who won a small tournament in Europe with it. And so, yeah, it's I mean, it's a really strong team. It utilizes the Maushold really, really well, and it's just got a lot of scary threats here. So, Tailwind from Murkrow's fairly concerning. I can match Tailwind using Corviknight, or I can just set up screens. I do think we should be playing towards Annihilape as well. I definitely like leading Grimmsnarl here. It's early disruption. Grimmsnarl. They just have so much offense. It scares me. What if I went Grimmsnarl or Corviknight? Grimmsnarl or Corviknight's actually kind of interesting, because I can get my own Tailwind up, but I don't know if my own Tailwind even helps that much, because they're just going to be faster anyway. Maybe I just go Grimmsnarl, Annihilate, Corviknight in the back. I don't really love any of our final options here. I went with Rotom, but I actually think Golden Go's the answer, because it can just Shadow Ball into their Golden Go. I didn't love my Garchomp here. So, yeah, I don't know. This is not the easiest matchup. Actually, you know what? Garchomp's worth considering because of Rough Skin. It kind of is a counter to Maushold in itself, which is like a weird interaction that I'm not super used to. Murkrow Annihilate. Okay. Well, do you go for Final Gambit onto Grimmsnarl? Maybe, but I could set up Reflect here and get a bulk up off. The question is actually, do I Reflect or Light Screen? I think Light Screen may be better. I suppose this could just go for a physical attack onto us. Nah, that is a possibility, right? I could always switch Grimmsnarl out here and sacrifice Rotom as well. Okay, I'm gonna go Reflect Bulk Up. Oh, Murkrow switches. Okay. Into Golden Go. I'll take that. Reflect. See if they Final Gambit here. Yeah. I don't know. I was thinking about Light Screen. I was just worried about their Annihilate targeting us. I guess a Shadow Claw really wouldn't have done that much damage, though. But the thing is, I get Bulk Up off now, and I can just Terra next turn, and then just Rage Fist into Golden Go for a KO. I hope it's a KO. I actually don't know that damage roll. I'm down to bring out Corviknight now, because this can pressure with Tailwind. Murkrow comes out, sure. Oh, you know what, though? The Murkrow does have Haze. So, that's kind of annoying. Turn into Water Terra now. Ooh, I can taunt your own Murkrow, which is pretty interesting. Taunt Terra. Rage Fist. Seems okay. They could Terra their own Golden Go, but I don't think that really makes that much sense. Okay. So we're going to get rid of the Ghost typing. We're going to turn into Water. Okay. I could see them going for Haze. They'd Tailwind, even better, honestly, because you're already faster than me. And they make it rain. Oh, that is super ideal for us. Okay, cool. So I should KO Golden Go, and I'll get the taunt off onto the Murkrow, so now it's basically relegated to clicking Foul Play for the next 3 turns. Which admittedly is still a decent option for them, right? But okay, nice. We get the KO. Well, that worked out well. Yeah, this is where I wish we had leftovers on the Annihilate. Would be so sweet, but let's see what their final Pokemon is. Okay, it is Hydreigon, so it's not great for Annihilate, I would argue, because this thing can just Terra Dark into us, and I didn't set up Light Screen earlier. It is Terra Steel, which is not really that great for me either. I guess the question is, does the Life Orb Dark Pulse KO, or do you actually have to go for something else? Terra Steel, I can Thunderbolt you. Corviknight can Taunt. It can also Tailwind itself. I kind of want to just get rid of Murkrow for now to have late game Tailwind maybe. Yeah, so like Brave Bird into Murkrow and then Protect here. I should have set up Light Screen. If I set up Light Screen instead of the Reflect, I think this would have been a done deal. They actually don't Terra Hydreigon. Interesting. Draco Meteor. Wow, really? I think if I actually let that Draco go off, we would have won. Foul Play. They take Rocky Helmet damage. We're going to Brave Bird. Does another Foul Play KO us? It's kind of close. Anyway, they really should be Dark Pulsing here, I think. But I guess they're just not confident in Dark Pulse KOing, which makes sense to me. How many turns of Tailwind are left, by the way? 2? Yeah, I'm down to Tailwind myself here. And then KO Murkrow on the last turn of Tailwind. Yeah, like if you're going to click Draco again, I'm down to switch out into Rotom right now. It feels weird to give up my boost though. But yeah, if I had clicked Light Screen over Reflect, I wasn't sure what they were going to have in the back, but Mouse, yeah, I mean, like it's a good split between physical and special on that team. And they do Draco, okay. And Rotom survives. Yeah, I mean, that's like a huge deal because I think like now you just don't have enough damage output in this endgame, right? Because you're at -2 for the remainder of the match. And I can heal back with Drain Punch with Annihilate as well. Another Foul Play comes out. Corviknight survives. Cool. I get Tailwind up. It was actually better to KO Murkrow here. Because the problem is, I mean, they're taunted and tailwinded, but like they can just Foul Play Draco again or Dark Pulse. Yeah, I didn't do that. Oh my gosh, they can haze away the drop. I actually really misplayed that in not KOing Murkrow, I think. Oh, I really did, yeah. Yeah, I totally forgot about like being able to haze away your drops. It's just so weird like getting used to a new Murkrow metagame here. Oh, but you know what's interesting? I guess like you can't Tailwind and Haze simultaneously. You can only go for one of the two. Yeah, so maybe we're still okay, but I shouldn't have Tailwind in there. I was thinking, oh, I can just come out. But like the thing is, Hydreigon and Murkrow is still faster than me this turn anyway, so they are going to finally Terra. Okay. Terra Hydreigon, yeah. I don't really care that much about Steel here. Okay. Dark Pulse. And we live on 1! Oh, it turns out we're faster here anyway. But Murkrow does survive as well. What is going on? And we also... Okay, this is crazy. Yeah, actually, since Murkrow was so slow here, maybe it was okay. Well, actually, then the Breaker wouldn't have even knocked out last turn. I don't know. I still think I could have played this endgame a little bit cleaner, but now we can taunt Hydreigon, Thunderbolt. Because in my opinion, their best bet was like, not Terra, just Life Orb Dark Pulse into Annihilate. But yeah, I can understand maybe the hesitance there, like because you don't think you're going to get the KO. So they're like, I'm going to just try to KO you. Yeah, I could have played this endgame a little bit better in my opinion. Especially because I forgot about Murkrow being able to get rid of the Haze. But I suppose because, yeah, we actually were faster with both the Corviknight as well as the Rotom. Maybe it was okay. And the Murkrow on the opposing side actually is just max HP, max defense, no speed investment. It's under Tailwind, yeah. Anyway, Annihilate comes back out, and we'll deal the finishing blow at this point. I'm glad to bring out Corviknight, though. It's a really interesting option. And yeah, like, Annihilate here just put in so much work, I would say, in the early game, you know? So I can just Iron Head now and Drain Punch. I think the main thing here was having Annihilate, being able to use it effectively against the Golden Go was huge. Because that turn, it was like, we just got a KO onto Golden Go and didn't take that much damage in return. So, yeah. Being able to, like, take a hit and then increase Rage Fist damage output and then just KO in return is super, super sweet. So, yeah. I think this game was interesting because it was, like, a battle between the two Annihilapes. I do think... Yeah, it's a debate on whether or not I should Light Screen or Reflect. But since I was clicking Bulk Up on turn 1 anyway, I think I would have been better off clicking Light Screen, which would have helped a lot more in this endgame, but shoutouts to Rotom for being so clutch, hanging on 1 HP. Corviknight hanging on after the Brave Bird recoil as well. That was crazy. But yeah, I'm trying to think where I could have improved my play in that one. I figured, I don't think I needed to really reflect there, because if you look at the physical attackers, it's mainly Garchomp, their Annihilape, which doesn't have any attack investment, and Mousehold. And Mousehold and Annihilape essentially don't do much into me, and Swords Dance Garchomp isn't really that scary either. So if I'd click Light Screen immediately, that helps more. One other approach would have been sacrificing Rotom for the final Gambit there, which I actually don't think is a bad trade for me, getting Bulk Up off and then bringing Grimmsnarl back out and then setting up both screens from there. So that's another approach. But Annihilate gets to come out and put in more work once again, so I'm happy about it. Okay, for this one we've got Murkrow, Hydreigon, Garchomp, Arcanine, Breloom, and Golden Go. So yeah, this is a pretty popular team, one of the most popular rank 1 teams running around right now. So... I feel like Haze Murkrow is something I didn't really do a great job of playing around in that previous game, and so I want to cover that a little bit better. Annihilape is really solid here, especially thanks to Defiant and us having Lumberry. It's kind of a nice Arcanine counter, and I don't have to worry about Spore as much from Breloom. I don't mind Grimmsnarl. I feel like I should be bringing Corviknight because it's such a wall into the Garchomp. I don't even mind something like Grimmsnarl plus Corviknight maybe, or Grimmsnarl Annihilate. The thing with Grimmsnarl Annihilate is that, like, early on, I can't really, not Drain Punch, Bulk Up that easily because the Murkrow can just haze it away. I don't know what they're going to really want to lead with. Let's give it a shot. Corviknight in the back, and then for the last one, don't really have great answers against Hydreigon, which is scary. I'm going with Rotom. I don't know. I think what's scary here is that, like, we both have Tailwind, but they have a slightly faster Tailwind, and it's mainly the haze on Murkrow that means that I can't bulk up as confidently with Annihilape. So I'm really gonna have to watch out for that. Let's see. Breloom and Golden Go. Okay, this is pretty scary, I think. It's also a nasty plot, Golden Go. Maybe we just leverage the fact that we have Lumberry here. And say I don't really care about you sporing me. Because, like, one play I could make, if we think they're going to Spore into Annihilape, is actually double up onto Breloom turn 1 for a KO, i.e. Spirit Break. And then I can Terra defensively here just to make sure I don't faint to Shadow Ball. And then Drain Punch into Breloom. Because the reality is that Breloom is a problem here, right? And so I actually want to just get rid of it immediately. But I suppose Golden Go here could just make it rain. Maybe I should have clicked Thunder Wave instead, yeah. Make It Rain's a really solid option for them. Oh, we're just faster with Annihilape against both, though. Okay. I feel like underestimating Annihilape's speed, and they actually spored into the Grimmsnarl. Wow. Okay. And they do Shadow Ball. Well, because we're faster with Annihilape... Oh, gosh, that's so much damage, though. You can Mach Punch me now. You can take a turn of sleep. You could also Bullet Seed me. I mean, I'm down to just Rage Fist here. What would have been better for me turn 1? Setting up a screen? Oh, wait, hold on. They switch out. Into Murkrow? Okay. Okay. So they just let me get the Rage Fist off. That's huge. And that's a one-hit KO. I mean, if Grimmsnarl now wakes up at any point, like, a Spirit Break here would be pretty awesome because it's free damage. We stay asleep. Okay. Going for Water Terra made things a little bit awkward. I'm just glad that turn worked out, though. Like, I was thinking if I were in their shoes, I'd just stay in with both Pokemon and attack with both. So they bring out Hydreigon now. This is Choice Specs. It Specs Poison, so it could theoretically, like, Terra Blast us. I am down to try to set up Light Screen here. You can actually theoretically knock out both Pokemon. And if they commit the Poison, then you're stuck with Poison, and then Corviknight comes out. So I think it's safer to just protect this turn. And they're going to go for the Terra. Okay. Okay. We're going to get Terra Hydreigon out here. Poison and Steel feel like two really common Terra typings on that right now. So Annihilate protects. Gonna Tailwind. That's fine. You're already gonna outpace me anyway here. Grim does stay asleep. Okay, let's see if they go for Terra Blast. They do, but they're gonna target Annihilape. Okay, cool. Because now what I can do is guarantee Light Screen up. And switch out into Corviknight. Also, I have Thunder Wave, so I could low-key Thunder Wave the Hydreigon now that you're no longer Dark typing. And thus not immune to Prankster. Okay. They taunt, but yeah, you can't taunt Dark types with Prankster. Nice. So we get Light Screen up. Now Corviknight is very well positioned, and they Terra Blast into us. Sweet. Now I'm down a Thunder Wave into this. And I could Tailwind myself. But they could taunt Corviknight here. So yeah, I'm down to just Thunder Wave here and Iron Head. They don't really have that much good late game damage at this point. Murkrow switches out, that's fine. I feel like I really need to get used to Annihilape's speed stat though. Because I keep expecting it to be slower than things. And like when we outsped both Breloom and Golden Go in the beginning, I was like, what? It's just the new generation playing with new Pokemon, getting used to new speed tiers. And they get parried, unfortunately, but I wouldn't even minded a Grimmsnarl KO here because it would give me a free switch in. Iron Head for some chip. Last turn of Tailwind. I don't have Tailwind up yet. I mean, sure, I'm down to Reflect. Iron Head. I actually think right now the Corviknight itself just kind of walls my opponent. I'm gonna Spore. And they Spore into Grimmsnarl, huh? Yeah, I don't see how they're beating Corviknight at all now. See if Specs Terra Blast gets the KO. I would still expected it to, but yeah, that's why I'm kind of confused by the Spore there. Maybe they were trying to cover for a switch out option. Grimmsnarl even survives that. Nice. And Iron Head KOs. Nice. Really the Corviknight show right now. And when Peter's out. And Murkrow comes back out. Cool. Just burn a turn of sleep. Just gonna keep Iron Heading here. Hydreigon literally, yeah, can't beat Corviknight at this point after committing to that. So that's one of the downsides of using Choice users. I mean, Choice users are really strong in this format, but if you end up getting locked into an attack that is just not good, or like has your opponent's team has immunities for it, it puts you in a really, really tough position. And so, yeah, like the main thing there is, you know, I think the bulk of the damage from that team comes from Golden Go as well as Swords Dance, Garchomp, or Hydreigon. So they didn't bring Garchomp, and then Golden Go was eliminated so early on. So like Murkrow's not really doing much damage, Breloom's not really doing much damage. So then you're really indexing on the Hydreigon to try to carry the game. But yeah, Hydreigon just had to commit to one typing there, and it or one move thanks to it having Choice Specs and put it into a fairly difficult position. Okay, our next opponent here has Baxcalibur, Rotom-Wash, Armarouge, Murkrow, Indeedee, and Meowscarada. So, a lot of cool Pokemon here. A lot of new Pokemon as well. And there's a Murkrow. I don't really know what to expect here, which scares me a little bit. Water Terra here is not valuable. When I was practicing with this team, I had a game where I thought for some reason it was Fire Terra. And I was like, oh, I'm going to Fire Terra in front of the Meowscarada. And then I just got hit by a Flower Trick, and I was like, oh, it's water. Whoops. That is one of the interesting things about like picking up new teams in Scarlet and Violet, like, because the Terra types just make it so each Pokemon functions in a unique way. So I want Grimmsnarl. It's the Entity like kind of like is annoying here, maybe. I'm thinking we just go Grim Annihilate and just start bulk upping early, maybe. Kind of worried about the Baxcalibur, to be honest. I think we probably want Corviknight to deal with that. And then their Rotom seems kind of annoying as well. Maybe our Rotom here. Actually, our Rotom's really bad into Meowscarada. I actually like Gengar here with Shadow Ball pressure. Really cool team, though. Love seeing Baxcalibur here. Let's see. What am I trying to do here? I mean, set up screens and set up Annihilate as quickly as I can, ideally, but, like, Armor Rouge plus Indeedee here in itself is scary. I'm go with Murkrow Meowscarada. And this is also fairly scary. I can't Thunder Wave either, so, I mean, I'm definitely going to just Reflect here. The debate is, like, do I want to consider going for a Terra and then just Drain Punch into them? I don't think we need a Terra here. I'm actually down to just Reflect and Drain Punch turn 1 immediately into Meowscarada. I think a big question when playing against Murkrows is, do they have Brave Bird or are they running Foul Play instead? Because if it's Foul Play, it's not nearly as scary for the Annihilate. They're going to Tailwind, which is fine. You're already faster, so if anything, it's actually not really helping them out on turn 1, but of course can help them out more long term. Get Reflect up. Alright, they're just going to go for Flower Trick. Now, this is good, right? Because you're able to ignore the Reflect, essentially. And Bulk Up doesn't really work that effectively against this either. So, we'll kill back from Drain Punch, and we'll do a considerable amount of damage. I guess the interesting thing now is I can paralyze the Meowscarada. But I honestly can't help but wonder if Spirit Break itself just KOs. I think it would hang on with the Sliver of HP, personally. I'm down to Thunder Wave here, and then switch out into Corviknight. That turn 1 trade wasn't terrible at the end of the day. Could have been worse. You know what? Maybe I should have just considered switching out to Corviknight immediately, though. But, yeah, at least I get a Rage Fist stack now. I don't know how helpful that actually will be, though, but we'll see. Meowscarada is really one of the best Pokemon my opponent can have into what we're using here, because Grimmsnarl likes to set up Reflect, but Meowscarada just guarantees a crit every time, so it's a pretty solid solution into, yeah, the team comp that we brought. Murkrow switches. Okay. What's coming out? Baxcalibur. So now I feel like Corviknight's really well positioned, honestly. Oh, they're going to Terra. Interesting. It might be Grass Terra to eliminate Grimmsnarl here. That would make a lot of sense to me. Like, expecting the Protect from the Annihilate. I really like that play. I think that's very smart. And I missed Thunder Wave. Ah. Okay. Yeah, this is probably going to Grim. I assume this KOs. Oh, we actually survived. That's pretty huge. Okay. That is very huge. I'm down to Thunder Wave, Baxcalibur now, and then just Iron Head. Iron Head should KO, right? I don't want to risk it. Just want to guarantee the knockout here. Huge survival on Grimmsnarl, though. Yeah, the fact we survived through Terra plus crit is amazing. Nicely done by my opponent, though. Like, if I had actually stayed in with Annihilate and Drain Punched into a Murkrow slot, that would have been so nasty, but that's such a hard read to make, and I don't feel comfortable doing that, given that I had Corviknight in the back. Okay. And the good thing now is that they did commit their Terra, and they didn't get what they probably wanted out of it, which was a, you know, guaranteed KO onto the Grim, so I'll take it. We're going to Flower Trick once again, yep, but I should KO Meowscarada in return. That enables Annihilate a little bit more. I can also Tailwind with this Corviknight in this endgame. I've actually been really impressed by Corviknight's performance. It's interesting because this isn't like the super bulky Corviknight that just stays on the field for forever. This actually does massive amounts of damage thanks to Brave Bird and Iron Head. And it's got max speed investment as well, which is also something I'm not used to. Hence the earlier game. Oh, Dragon Dance though. Okay, that's scary. I can Iron Head you though. You are paralyzed as well. And I have Haze. Okay, I'm down to bring out Gengar first, I think. Rotom comes out. Aw, it's not good for Corviknight. Awkward position to be in. 5 turns of Reflect, no turns of Light Screen. It's Terra flying, so Thunderbolt's looking kind of scary here. We don't have speed control. Haste to get rid of the attack boost. I'm struggling to see how I beat the Rotom. Honestly, here I want to double up onto Baxcalibur and get it out of the way. Okay, Volt Switch onto Gengar. Okay, okay. Curse Body. Wait, that doesn't disable it as it switches out, right? Yeah, I was like, that'd be so funny. That makes sense. I don't know how confident I am in Annihilate closing out this game for me. Especially because I set up Reflect and not Light Screen. Shadow Ball. Ooh, we do get a para though. That's huge. That's a really big para. Ironhead doesn't even KO though. Wow. That's impressive, Bulk. Okay. Well, they can just Tailwind again, but we're actually faster with this. So, like, I could go for Sludge Bomb again and then actually set up my own Tailwind. That was a big para though. That was super lucky. I think if we don't get that para there, if they KO Gengar, I'd probably just lose. But yeah, this is where it's interesting because it looks like Gengar is faster than Baxcalibur at +1 while paralyzed, even if they're under Tailwind. So let's say Murkrow Tailwinds. My Corviknight matches their Tailwind and I KO the Baxcalibur. I think it really comes down to Murkrow's final move. The other problem is being Water, Terra Annihilape, and a Flying Terra Corviknight and Flying Terra Gengar doesn't do me any favors against this Rotom. So I think we might get swept by Rotom here in this endgame, unfortunately. Okay, it is foul play. Well, actually, I mean, Annihilape outspeeding Rotom here doesn't seem completely out of the realm of possibility, and if that's the case, I can Drain Punch to heal, right? Unfortunately, Corviknight just does no damage in a Rotom. So I would expect Tailwind plus an attack from there right now. They could also mess up if they went for, like, I don't know, Will-O-Wisp. I'm down to Drain Punch Rotom here and Taunt it. I don't want to Terra here because I don't want to just be weak to Electric, and that's even worse for us. But this is a game where, like, I just couldn't find an effective use of Terra throughout. They Will-O-Wisp, though. That's huge. Okay, because now I have Lumberry, I get rid of the Will-O-Wisp, and I taunt you so you can't burn me in subsequent turns. Okay. Now we're talking. Yeah, so Rotom is faster. It's not really too crazy. Oh, that's what I needed, though. That's absolutely what I needed. So I get the Drain Punch off now. You're taunted with Rotom. I heal back. I mean, this still isn't over. Reflect. The thing is, another Drain Punch doesn't KO, but it gives me Sustain. So I think I'd rather Drain Punch here than Brave Bird. Okay, they're gonna foul play. Oh my gosh. That did so much. Ah, the dream is dead. I honestly thought foul play would do a little bit less damage, but I guess that's a problem with having Annihilate, having a decent attack stat. Yeah, Drain Punch also just did less last turn than I would have liked. Is there any way we can win this? Last turn of Tailwind. They still have 2 turns of Tailwind. I'll play this turn out, because if your only damage is Volt Switch, maybe it's still doable. But, yeah. We have met our match here. Ah, Flatter. That's cool. Confusion. It is just Volt Switch. I actually expect to survive that. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I had the game because I didn't Terra. The solution was Terra Annihilate. Expecting them to Hydro Pump in that position. Because it makes that more sense for them to just try to double up into that slot and KO. And if they had gone for that, I would have been able to Rage Fist, KO the Rotom in return, and it would have been Murkrow versus Corviknight 1v1, where I have Taunt. I assume Foul Play just KOs here, right? I guess play it out, but... Yeah. That was... I didn't think about Terra there. Because I think I was so hard focused on being like, oh, my Terra is just not very good in this endgame, but it would have been specifically good just to take less damage from Hydro Pump there and get a knockout in return. So, yeah. It's a good lesson to learn, though, because this was an awkward game where I never felt like I had a good position to Terra. Also, Grimmsnarl did have Grass Terra here, so I'm wondering if I could have utilized that earlier on in the game to survive against Meowscarada a little bit better. But ultimately, yeah, like, I think we had a very good shot at winning this if I ended up finding the Terra Annihilate water play there, but, you know, there is a world in which I could see them just not wanting to risk a Hydro Pump miss and Volt Switching there. I actually just thought Foul Play would do less as well, which was, yeah, maybe not the best assumption on my end, so it makes sense for them to try to go all in there. I feel like the other thing is I saw Volt Switch Will-O-Wisp, so I was like, oh, you're not actually going to deal that much damage with Rotom, but yeah, if we had gone for Terra there, we would have survived Hydro Pump and then gotten, like, Rage Fist would have been able to KO Rotom, but I would have had to find that play, and, I mean, yeah, it's not like it's a guaranteed win, right, because I would lose to them Volt Switching in that slot, but given the Volt Switch Will-O-Wisp, feels like, yeah, Hydro Pump would be their main means of offense. But that was a really fun one and very well played by my opponent. Like, first of all, I think bringing the Meowscarada early on was exactly what you need to do against this team composition because you get to crit through the Reflex. I think I could have considered just switching Annihilate out into Corviknight on turn 1 as well. That probably would have put me into a better position instead of just trying to Drain Punch. And so I could have played better with Annihilate early and then definitely could have played better with it late as well. But yeah, really, really nicely done by my opponent there. So this Annihilate team is super, super fun. Hopefully it's opened your eyes to the potential of Bulk Up and, yeah, just the bulkier Annihilate kind of set. And we got to utilize a lot of the fun Pokemon here as well. So thanks so much as always for watching. If you enjoy, please share your support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. And I will see you all soon. All right. Peace.